So all of a sudden, it seems like Star Wars Underworld is back in the spotlight and getting some attention.
I knew about this shit 5 years ago.
Well, yeah, always did, but I guess there's been some details about it that have come out recently that people have been all abuzz about, and a lot of it has to do with its like the budget and it's
This was the Acolyte budget for 12 episodes.
Right.
So, come on. $40 million is nothing. And if they wanted to do something different...
But it's $40 million an episode.
Yeah, so...
All told...
And that was in the
for the 60
time.
episodes that have been written...
Yeah.
That's $2.4 billion for the series.
And they could have found ways around that. I think that's a smokescreen to... Oh my God! The Pearl Clutchers.
Apparently, according to the things I've seen,
I know.
That was Lucas's estimate of what he expected it to cost.
The producer guy, what's his name?
Oh,
who
yeah.
did the interview.
Yeah.
So my whole thing is like, all right, maybe not live action, but like the guy, I send you those things where Warhammer and Star Wars interact,
mm-hmm.
and that is great animation.
Mm-hmm.
They could do something like that, not this fucking Dave Filoni fucking Rebels or. Clone Wars garbage.
Right.
Because that's basically just previs. That's previs art, is Clone Wars and Rebel. Really it is.
Yeah. But it's also, a little bit more on the juvenile side.
Yes.
Especially in the character design and the look of it.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it like that just because it's a CG kind of a...
Yeah, they could have fucking done it like the 2D Clone Wars, which would have been fucking awesome. What's the real problem? Somebody might make some money, or it might be good, or it might be entertaining, and people enjoy it, and because the interviewee, was like, oh well, it would just be more, and it would just blow Star Wars away, and no, it wouldn't. It would add to it. So, and then the fact, hold on, I'm gonna go on a rant.
Go ahead.
That they had Ronald D. Moore doing them, or some of them, which was motherfucker Deep Space Nine. And I watched an interview of his when he was talking about the Trial of Tribbles, the anniversary issue episode of Deep Space Nine.
Yeah.
And they were going frame by frame. They knew the lock-in and what type of all this shit for the whole episode.
Yeah.
And he left Paramount Star Trek after the Equinox episodes in Voyager because he was allowed to do those, but they wouldn't let him do it. Like, let's be real honest engine about it. Voyager should have been like how the Equinox was. All the fucking time. Instead of it being Captain Hillary's flagship.
Okay.
That it was always about ready to fall apart. Warp core breach. Everything. Because they're just out of their fucking depth.
Well, yeah. And they are isolated.
70,000 fucking light years from Starfleet.
And beelining it back to the Alpha Quadrant at maximum warp.
All the time, you're going to run out of fuel.
And then they only have so many spare parts on the ship or whatever. I mean, so where are they going to get the things they need to really affect repairs?
Yeah.
So maintaining the ship would have been top priority.
Yeah. So I can't buy all the times it got fucked up and then it was perfect again.
Yeah.
I just can't. That was one of the things that bothered me about the show.
It's not like they could take it to a local star base for repair.
Right? And so Ronald D. Moore was like, because the Equinox episodes was like where it was actually like there was still rubble on the floor and shit going on. They didn't have time to pick up or clean up after everything. And that's kind of what he did. That's why he went to Battlestar Galactica. I would have preferred that if he had done this in Voyager, or they had been more like smart about how things would actually be, instead of a constant bottle episode where everything resets at the end of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Or like, when Year of Hell, that's what would have fucking happened.
Mm-hmm.
They eventually would have had to split up and get other crewmen and the whole thing. Like, really go for it. But again, Paramount pulled its punches.
Yeah.
So I would have loved to have seen anything that Ronald D. Moore was doing for Star Wars, because Star Wars has already had that lived-in aesthetic. It wasn't glossy. It wasn't like Logan's Run. It wasn't like...
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't like Star Trek.
Right. It was not polished and dust-free. No.
And so that's where I'm about it.
And to see what he would have done with the episodes that he wrote. I saw him with Katie Sackhoff talking about it. And he went into the whole thing.
Is her last name a pun? Just saying. Is she post or pre-op? I don't.
I'm sure she's probably been teased about it all her life. So well, yeah, I mean, what does it rhyme with? Anyway,
I'm just saying,
Anyway, I'm not going there. It's just too easy. Right? I'll just leave that one alone. It's too easy. But no, I guess he wrote 3 of the episodes that he could claim credit for, but there was a team of writers brought in, that's what you would, and it was like a bullpen, and they're all these people, really top-notch people. He didn't drop names, but I mean, he was in the mix.
Yeah.
So anyway, and he's like in between two other projects or whatever, and he got a call. I think it was from an agent, or said that George Lucas would like to meet with him and about working on a Star Wars project. He was like, "Are you kidding me? Yeah, I'll drop everything I'm doing to go do this meet with George Lucas, right?" And
I wish that. Sorry,
go ahead.
And I wish that Jon Favreau wasn't such a company man. I mean, I know that he finally got out of Star Wars, really, kind of with his character in the middle of season 3 of Mandalorian, but I would have told him to go fuck off the minute that fucking magic cowboy bullshit started, because fuck right off. And the minute fucking Gina Carano was fucking even taunted, I would have put my fist all the way through Kathleen Kennedy's asshole, pulled her tonsils out through her anus. But that's me. That's why I'm not in Hollywood also.
Right.
And plus, I got those big forearms so that... Hey, once you get past the apex, it's all smooth sailing. Anyway, sorry, go on.
What were we talking about?
Ronald D. Moore.
Wow.
I know, I have an aside once in a while, and I gotta... yeah.
But no, they were in pretty significant development of this thing.
Yeah.
Lots of production artwork, concept art. And some of them you're seeing show up on YouTube.
And I love all the concept art for the Mandalorian. Those
at the end credits.
Yeah.
Yes. But
and I have all the art books.
I
don't have Star Wars, but I got Empire and Jedi.
But the thing was, it was George Lucas's idea.
Yeah.
To explore the underworld, darker side of the Star Wars galaxy.
And
through this series.
And from what I've heard.
And it's basically going to be modeled after The Sopranos.
Yeah.
Like a crime family.
Because from the YouTube stuff I've watched, all different channels, I have no idea. So I'm not, but it's just Star Wars lore. EU stuff. The actual Star Wars canon. That Coruscant, I can't even imagine that Coruscant is an actual planet. It could be just all mechanical and levels and levels and levels, because the Coruscant you see, like...
Well, no, there's clearly levels and levels to Coruscant.
Yeah, that is so...
The closer you get to the surface, the darker and seedier it gets.
It's all the bottom, the lower stuff.
Almost like Metropolis.
Yeah.
But... I mean, that was kind of apparent even in Attack of the Clones when they were chasing after Django and
that was a masturbatory exposition of, look what I can do with the computers.
No, but still, the lower they got,
the further out,
the seedier it got. And this would have really gone into it that way.
Oh, I think it would have been great.
And it was not going to be your daddy Star Wars.
And I think
it was George Lucas's idea.
And I think that calling it The Sopranos would hinder its scope and ability.
Well, not so much calling it that, but
modeling it
after that.
Yeah.
In whatever way. But at the time it was a hot popular thing going on.
Yeah.
And it was not it would remain to be seen how closely modeled it was after that. But I mean, you're going to turn these mobsters, these galactic criminals, into these sympathetic characters, kind of like kind of like it was going to feature them as the leads.
Yeah.
And they're all criminals. And they're like, but they have families and they have, there's more to them than just what they're doing in the criminal world. And
well, you've read some of my Cara Dune stuff. So,
yeah. But
yes, I wrote several episodes for a Cara Dune show that will never happen because she should have her own goddamn show. So there. Anyway.
No, that would be really good.
Yeah.
An 8-episode Cara Dune solo series.
I'm tired of these 8-episode things. 22 fucking episodes, like an actual TV show.
Like a whole
season
run of a show?
Whole proper season, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Dude. Oh.
Hey, it's this way or not at all. Stands you in hope. All right?
Well, see, that's the thing, too, is that there was some talk about, like, George Lucas and what he was doing and how he had the clout and the status and the
he totally could have pulled it off. So the money thing
is that he could produce the entire series.
Oh yeah.
And just take it and say, here it is, take it or leave it.
Yeah.
And not be dealing with the studio heads getting all up in the business.
Exactly.
No, it's done. It's finished. You either want it
or you don't.
As is or you don't.
But see, that's why the money thing is just bullshit to me because it's going to cost this amount of money. Like George gives a shit about money,
right?
Really, because he's spent money on stuff that wasn't viable or wasn't, it just didn't work.
And he really, it wouldn't have mattered to him one way or the other if it took a loss.
Yeah,
spend $2.4 billion on a series of 60 episodes and make $1 billion back off of it. He doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah. And it wouldn't have been like that.
It wouldn't have been for the money. That's the thing. Yeah. If he was going to spend that much money on it, then
there's something to do.
How the hell are they going to earn that return on that investment?
Well, see, that's the wrong thinking. He wasn't thinking like that. It was like, I just want to do this,
right?
Because it'll look cool. It'll be cool, and that's the thing that everything that's fucking except for Andor that Disney is fucked up about Star Wars. It's not cool.
Yeah.
It's that's a neat scene, but doesn't mean anything if it's not engaging and cool. Every scene in Star Wars, if you go through it, is compelling, is engaging. Every scene.
Mm-hmm.
Even in the special editions. Every scene is compelling.
Mm-hmm.
Every scene in Empire Strikes Back is compelling.
Oh, yeah.
Every scene in Return of the Jedi, whether you like the Ewoks or not, and fuck off if you don't. Compelling.
Yeah.
Even if you don't like the prequels, every scene was compelling. No. What the hell is this? No. Where are we? Yeah.
Everything mattered.
Yes.
And, I mean, even episode 2, which I got my issues with,
yes, but I know.
All of it mattered.
Yeah.
With whatever plot holes or things that were there, the content that made the movie, still, all of it did matter.
Yeah. Every scene was engaging.
Right. And it wasn't like what we getting from Disney where half of it doesn't even matter, man.
None of it matters.
Right.
Andor is the only thing. Andor and Rogue One are the bright spot, and that's it.
Yeah.
And isn't that terrible? It truly is. And there are those people that...
And it just goes to show that when you got somebody doing something like that knows what the fuck they're doing, not only knows the story they want to tell, but also knows the Star Wars.
Whether it's whether it's the choice that you would have made or not, fuck off, because it's his choice. He made it.
Right.
So,
but
I just...
all of it is just so... just
watered down.
Star Wars.
Yes. But
Andor is just so fucking Star Wars.
Yes. And everything else that Disney has done is just watered down drivel.
Yes.
You had one point. Force Awakens. You had the one point where he's holding the blaster bolt.
Yeah.
And that's it. After that, it all went downhill.
Yeah.
And then he took his mask off?
Yeah.
What the... Oh, seriously. And beyond all the story problems, that was the last compelling scene in Force Awakens. Because who did you have telling the story in the beginning? Which they shouldn't have had him killed. Who was?
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Conan's king.
Yeah.
Yes. And tell us in the comments who it is. Come on, kids. And after that, there was nothing in the whole thing. Another Death Star, and everybody's old. But, fucking Chewbacca didn't have no gray hair. What the fuck?
Right.
He should have been looking like fucking Whoopi Goldberg. But no. And then that little thing, just because it was voiced by some actress, gross.
Yeah.
The flags weren't interesting. I don't care. And it was Star Wars Lost. That's all it was.
Pretty much. I mean, it was so unimaginative.
Yeah.
Because, J.J. Abrams can't come up with an original idea to fucking... I mean, easily the most underrated guy in the industry overrated. Sorry, person in the industry.
And Roundhead
at the time,
yes,
because he was doing Star Trek too, and it was like, why does everybody think J.J. Abrams is so friggin' something?
Because he's
because he did Lost, and it had a following, and there's a fan base, and people will come just because his name is on it. Yeah.
I actually I don't know. I don't think so.
Well, he must have sucked somebody's dick to get those gigs.
Woo!
I mean, really, man.
Hey, absolutely.
You know what I'm
saying? Because what the fuck?
You know what I would have done to have a chance to reboot something like that, or not even reboot, but like be in that position.
I can only imagine,
man. Give my left nut. Anyway, and I'd be glad to do it and appreciate the opportunity and not
and understand what it actually is.
And really, yes.
Not I'm going to go on Jon Stewart's show and look how funny I am.
Not let it go to my head, but really do it justice.
It would have drove you crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, right over the fucking end, just the bender, just whoop, that was it. So, and should we let?
But besides all that, back to Underworld, right?
Yes. Do we think that Disney could ever do this proper justice? No.
Oh, not likely.
And would we want to? No. To see it raped and abused? No.
I wouldn't. No. The thing is that okay, with Daredevil Born Again having such a low viewership, being the gritty MA thing that it is, I think that would be a deterrent for Disney to do an MA Star Wars like Underworld. Well, if Daredevil was a smash hit and people were tuning in, that might make a difference in them.
They don't actually know what real life is because they live in a bubble in Hollywood.
Well, there's that.
And so, unless it's lady boys or pool boys or pageant girls, they don't understand any of it.
No, they don't get it.
They don't know what actual life is.
Well, but see, the movies are not supposed to be actual life.
No, but to draw from...
There's got to be some realism.
Yes.
There's got to be something you can relate to.
Yes, to draw you into... and this is where they get we can talk about politics. And no, dumbass, that's not even... that's not...
No, you need to... If you're going to talk about politics, especially in Star Wars, you need to keep it to the politics of Star Wars.
Yes.
Which may or may not parallel some of our politics in our world, but
too bad.
That should be a coincidence or just something that you could, but not specifically taking from our headlines and throwing it into Star Wars and making it like no,
So,
because Star Wars is very political, but it's allegorical. It's not like it's not supposed to mirror. I mean, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but
it's not.
I think you're getting it.
It's not to mirror.
It's not to make a political statement about right now, today, in our day.
Because guess what?
What that'll do is that for one, it's dated.
Dates the fuck out of it. Just boom.
So 10 years from now, none of that's going to be pertinent.
Fucking 3 years from now, a year from now, a day from tomorrow.
I mean, there's things that have been out for 40, 50 years that are more relevant today than they were when they made them.
More prescient.
Yeah.
And
that's what you call timeless.
Yes.
And Star Wars is timeless. It's supposed to be. It's designed to be.
It was.
It was designed to be.
Yes. Actual Star Wars is timeless. And
yeah, because you can still...
Disney is just...
I mean, people 150 years from now can watch the original trilogy and still enjoy it because it's timeless. You go watching the goddamn sequels, I mean, they're just a waste of time anyway.
So, Disney, don't touch Underworld because you don't know what the fuck you're doing and you never will. And it's just another regret that actual Star Wars fans have to... another burden we have to bear. So,
and it's a shame.
Damn shame. Shame.
They got 60 scripts ready to go. Not rough drafts or outlines. Finished scripts ready to go. All they got to do is just start producing them. But you know that they're not going to. Or even if they did, they're going to want to get in there and revise and rewrite some of it. And
put an owl and a wolf in, and won't that be cool?
And Dave Filoni's going to stick his dick in it, and it's going to be all bad,
he doesn't have a dick. It's just a giant clit.
Well...
his old lady's got a bigger cock than he does.
He'll rub his mangina all over
it. God. There's an image. All right.
I mean, really, come on, man. Pull your heads out.
Oh, wow.
You know, I mean, if Disney hadn't already lost their shirt on so many of their projects as it is, then they would not blink at the finances or the money it would have cost because they got more money than... Oh, my God.
Well, they don't... So...
And they can afford to lose it. But
they deserve to lose it.
Well, they deserve to lose what they have.
Yes.
Up to this point, yes.
So please, tell us what you think about Underworld, about anything we've talked about. And as always...
Yeah, would you like to see this actually come to pass? Under Disney's leadership or not? Or, I mean, even if Disney sells it... Hopefully, whoever buys it, it'll be part of the acquisition.
Yes.
Because Lucas sold it off with the rest of Star Wars to Disney in the first place.
Yes.
So, I don't think it's going to happen.
As always, like, share, subscribe.